yeah, that's cool. But other than that, David, what you doing?
Number of things. So this week, actually, I got a board game. I got to talk about a board game. We'll get that out of the way first. This week, I want to talk about, it's a 2-player game. Me and Alyssa have been playing a lot of it. You like this game. This is called Memoir 44. It is a World War II abstract strategy, almost chess-like board game. So 2 players, so it's only 2-player. You can't, there's technically this, it's called Operation Overlord, and you get like 2 copies of it and a bigger map, and you play with 4 people. It's actually pretty cool. Anyways, 2-player game where one person is the Allies and one person is the Axis of Evil, the Nazis. And it has what's really cool about this game is it brings actual battles that occurred in the 40s in this game, and so like actual events. And like what's really unique about the game is like it's very simple. It's like one of the most simple. You have these. The board is divided into 3 different sections, which are called flanks. And you have these cards. You have these battle cards. On your turn, you play a battle card. That's pretty much it. It'll say a flank, for instance, like right flank, and you can give an order to 2 different troops or 2 different groups of your people, your army. And then that's it. And then it goes to the next person, and they did the same thing. So it's not like this. There's no math. There's only like count how many hexes away, and that's how many dice you roll. And it's a dice roll, and if you roll the dice that has the symbol that you're trying to shoot, then that kills them. And then if you kill these, each of your troops have like a certain amount of figures. So like a infantry troop has 4 figures. When you kill the last person of that troop, you take their dead body as a trophy, which is kind of
morbid.
Yeah, a little bit. But that's how you win the game. You get a certain amount of trophies. Or maybe you need
points.
Yeah, victory points. Or maybe you need to take control of a bridge. And that's actually like, it's all, they give you all the text of like what originally happened, like Sword Beach and stuff like that.
Which I think is kind of funny because I think you and I played, and I think I was the Nazi, or you the Nazis?
I was the Nazis, I think.
But it's like, I think I'm going to lose because the battle says that the Nazis lost this war or something like that.
No, and when you
battle.
Well, actually in here, like me and Alyssa played, I've always been the Nazi, she's been the Allies. And it's very hard, but you do have a lot of it. Like the last one we played, because there's like, I think there's like 15 or 16 missions in the game, and you can replay them over and over. One of the cool ones was she had a paratrooper. This one, the paratroopers dropped in, and so what you do is you take the box on top of the game board and you grab a group of paratrooper guys, and you have to drop them onto the board. And then wherever they land on the hex is, if they land on an enemy, they get immediately killed. If they land on an empty one, then they all go to that empty one. A new group of them. So you try to and there's spots on the board that are pretty empty, and there's this one spot that's like a perfect spot that's behind a bunch of trees that were behind the enemy lines, and she's like, I'm going to drop them there. And of course, all of them land perfectly. And so now I have these 2 fronts. I have them coming from behind, which is like really thematic, and that's what they talked about. They like these.
I was saying the thematic of it, even just like randomly dropping troops. That's kind of how it was. Right?
Yeah, and it's just like super, super cool. You get tanks, you get artillery, and like the artillery can shoot a lot further, and so like you can't hide behind things. It's just, and there's like a beach, and it takes longer to move up the beach, certain terrain, do certain things. It's made by the same people who make like Ticket to Ride, Quadropolis. It's Days of Wonder. So they make really great games that are straightforward and easy, but do offer a lot of strategy. I cannot recommend this game enough. They have a bajillion expansions, all of the different, if you want the Pacific
different theaters, right?
Yeah, the different theaters. If you want the Europe, Western Europe theater, you can do that. They have like winter. They have like water stuff. They have.
Is it all World War II? Like, do they have World War I variants?
No, it's all World War II. But it's just really cool. It's cool because you do learn about some of the stuff. It gives you the date, like June 6th, 1944. This battle happened.
There's like a page on
this is what happened, and then it's like, now you know the history. Go ahead and play. And so it's cool if you get into it a little bit. And some of the cards are like really powerful. Like you can get like a airdrop or of like bombs, and so like if all these people are next to each other, the person plays that card, it just boom, 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 just takes all those guys out. And then you get things like this is the chess part of it, like there's certain, like a tank. If you take out a group of people, you get to move forward and then shoot again. So you want to try to it reminds me of double jumping and checkers. You got to be careful to not...
And time it just right?
Well, not even just on a defensive strategy, you've got to be careful where you place your people, because if you put them in the right spots, then the offense can just boom, move on, boom, move on,
right.
Boom. And that's why I think this game is so enduring and so loved, because it's simple, but man, oh man, if you're good at this game, you are going to just destroy the other side. Again, fantastic game. Very, very cool. Memoir 44. I want to say it's probably about $40, but you get like a ton of miniatures. Everything's a miniature. They get these little barrels of wire. You get the little hedgehogs that are, on the beach, those little big metal steel things that were on the beach. Very, very cool. Very thematic. Can't recommend it enough. Check that out. Memoir 44. Not a lot of really big 2-player games. Most 2-player games are like card games, simple games. So it's nice to have like a big 2-player heavy game and not heavy and like
heavy-ish.
Yeah.
Did you ever play Stratego?
Yeah.
I like that game.
Yeah, Stratego is good. There's a lot of games that use that same mechanic. Like there's one called it used to be called Zeus and Hera. Now it's called Thunder and Lightning, and it's
I don't know why I
Stratego.
asked, have you ever played Stratego? But
I know.
I should have said, do you like Stratego?
I do like
You like
Stratego.
board games, David?
No, I think the thing that I really do appreciate now is like the games that I played as a kid. Like the same people who are designing games now played those same games. So like I like that, but then take all that other garbage crap out, or make that one cool thing the whole game. And so, because a lot of games are like this cool thing and then like window dressing, right? We got to make the game a little longer. So we'll put in this weird auction thing or this weird other mechanic. And it's like, no, just do the one thing. It's okay to be simple. You know, I don't know. It's like, it's cool. There's a whole renaissance of that. So that's Memoir 44. I did a couple other things since we've got our best of 2016 episode coming next week. I've been trying to do my homework.
Much homework to do this week.
So I wanted to catch up on a bunch of movies. One of the movies that I watched this week that came out this year is called Hunt for the Wilder People, which is a
very good movie.
It came out in 2016. It stars Sam Neill, who is Alan from Jurassic Park. Alan, the Velociraptor. Anyway, so he's in it, and it's about this husband and wife adopt a troubled youth. It's all set in New Zealand, so they all got the awesome New Zealand accents. But this troubled youth who, like, he's like, he wants to listen to rap music, and he like burns things, and he's like, but
he smashes on things, he burns things.
Yeah, it's great when they explain.
He runs away.
She's like, this kid's bad. He runs away, and they like show like little clips of him doing all these terrible things. He lights things on fire, and it's just him like throwing a match into a dumpster. It's a comedy movie, right? So it's very funny. So he meets this family, and he basically starts to like realize, oh, they really like me. Like it's not just some crappy foster parents who are trying to make like an extra buck by fostering.
He's been in the system. Right?
Yeah, in the system. Ultimately, and this is a little bit of a spoiler, but not too much because the whole movie is the second part of the movie. Not even the second part. The first 10 minutes this happens. The mom is really the woman who adopted them. She's really the enduring, loving one, and he's like the whatever kid. Like she wanted to adopt you. I didn't really want you. And he's like they live out in the bush. Like they live outdoorsy, like way out in the middle of nowhere. And he's like, whatever. Like I don't really care about you.
The
like,
kid is a city kid. So
yeah, like leave me alone, kid. You don't know. You're a city slicker. Whatever. Leave me alone. But he basically learns to love his new mom. Like she's really sweet to him, and he starts to become, of course she passes away. That's the spoiler. And then
Disney did this one then?
Yeah, it feels like it, right? Just enough. Yeah. So then, and then he's supposed to go back into the system, and then there's this whole thing of he's like, well, I want to stay, and then the guy's like, well, I'm not gonna. You have to go back. I don't want you. And then there's a whole.
He just runs away into the wilderness.
Right, and so now he's trying to find him, and then some stuff happens, and then the CPS or whatever of the child services are trying to find him, and then it's like this whole manhunt. It's hilarious. And they're out in the bush.
They picture him like a killer, like he kidnapped him or whatever. He kidnapped the kid and stuff.
Yeah, but he's not.
He's a crazy moronic.
Right, and it is one of the funniest movies I've seen this year by far, and it is so.
It's directed by Takeshi Wakati or something like that, but he's directing Thor Ragnarok, which spells high hopes for that.
I hope it's going to be hilarious.
If you've never seen What We Do in the Shadows, definitely recommend it. It's the movie he did before Wilder People.
Shark and... Oh, God, I can't remember that movie.
Like Shark and Eagle or something like that.
Yeah, Shark and Eagle.
He did that. He did a lot of writing and stuff for Fly the Conchords, which are a big New Zealand folk group.
Yeah, exactly.
So if you like that kind of humor, it's very dry, but it's just hilarious.
Yeah, it almost feels like the guy who does... oh, God, what's his name? The single shot that slides camera. I can't think of his name. The director.
Wes Anderson.
Wes Anderson. A very similar comedy to Wes Anderson, if you know Wes Anderson.
Just dry.
Very dry, but also like there's no laugh track, obviously, but it's like just so it's like,
just so witty and
it's super witty.
So
and
funny.
Some of the stuff in this is like so freaking funny. But it's also a good like heartfelt movie. Like it feels good. You know what I mean? Like it's got that, but and Sam Neill needs to be doing more movies because he kills it.
Yeah.
He kills it in this movie. I'm like, why is Sam Neill not in more movies? Like big movies. He is fantastic in this movie. Also did not know he was New Zealand or has like his family's partially New Zealand.
Yeah. He's got that accent.
Yeah.
Naturally.
Yeah, it's awesome. Like the accents in this are fantastic. By the way, the guy from Flight of the Conchords shows up, Murray.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Restart.
Yeah. No. Yeah, it's fantastic. There's a bunch of reoccurring characters from like these actors or these directors who use the same actors over and over and over. It's like it's so much fun to see that. Anyways, cannot recommend that enough. That's potentially could be the best movie of 2016 for me. I have to.
I think it's on my list too.
Yeah. Okay. The last thing this week, we played another. I want to talk about a video game that we played recently. So Steam had its winter sale. I know it's already hilarious. We just start talking. Steam had its winter sale, which I bought a bunch of games. One game that I want to talk about before we talk about the game we played was I went back and played Dishonored, because it came out with Dishonored 2. Did you ever play the original one? It's a first-person shooter.
No.
Yeah, it's kind of a first-person shooter, but
no, it is. I mean, it is a first-person shooter that has like stealth mechanics to it, which is usually not what you want. This game pulls it off really well, but the story in this game is really cool. It's got like steampunk, but like Victorian era steampunk. So it's like,
well, steampunk is
no, I know, but I'm saying like it has
Same thing.
well, like steampunk to the extent that there's like TVs and like ways like, but it's I don't know, it's really really cool.
But there's magic.
Yeah, there's like
stuff
yeah, there's like magic. So what's cool is like you get like magic abilities. It feels like BioShock a little bit, right? So
Yeah,
you have a
very
gun,
BioShock-ish.
you have a gun and a knife, but then you also have the ability to like blink to the other side of the screen.
And you can go through the whole game without killing one person.
Yeah,
you can do
which
all non-lethal,
which is very hard
or
to
you can
do.
go balls to the wall. I did not like this game.
I went balls to the wall. I murdered everybody.
Well, you're gonna have
But-
a problem at the end of the game.
Well, what's cool is like the as you create, it's called chaos,
There's a plague,
right? And like
happening
rats show up if you create more chaos, and like if the
for
rat,
dead bodies, so they're spreading the plague, so it gets worse and worse. So
Right.
the game gets harder
Oh, really?
as the game, and you're gonna get a bad ending too. There's multiple endings.
yeah,
A bad ending. It's just like
not
game
bad.
over, bro.
No, yeah.
No, like you beat the game, but like you killed everyone. Good
The
job.
evil, yeah, you become more and more evil. I don't mind that, but in this game, what's interesting too is like there's a point in the game. Again, it's 2012. I'm not going to spoil too much, but there's a point in the game where it's like, okay, this is where the game is going to end, and then it's like, nope, that's like half the game, and then we've got a whole nother. I like when games do that. Like we got to kill the big bad guy. Okay, we got to do all these things, get all these things together, do all these other missions. Then we coalesce all that stuff, and then we kill the bad guy. And that's usually the end of the game. And this is like, no, that's the midpoint of the game. And it's really interesting and unique how they go from there onward. I cannot recommend it enough. It's like, I think like $4 on Amazon. It's worth checking out. They do a good job of that stealth mixing with first person.
I just couldn't get into it, man.
I really like
played it. I tried playing it twice on 360. I think is when it first came out.
Yeah, 2012 I think is when it came out.
Yeah, I just could not get into it.
No,
but I didn't like BioShock either. Everyone loves that game.
So good. BioShock is amazing. I don't know what's wrong with you. So check that out. Then Dishonored 2 is on the sale for like $40. So you got to play both of those. And I've heard only good things. But one other game we bought recently was a what is it called? Steam Early Access game called Astroneers.
First of all, this is a game that I thought was really cool. I was looking forward to this because I saw a video of it a few months ago. I'm like, David, we should buy this game because all David wants to play is board games. Even when we're playing video games, he wants to play the board games variants of video games. It's terrible sometimes. But so I was like, oh, David, let's check this out. And he poo-pooed. He's like, oh, what is this crap game you're telling me?
Well, because I'm not I don't like the crafting games. I don't like the games that don't have
survival
and don't have an end, right? It's just like build stuff. And it's like, okay, but like what is the overarching objective? And it's like, oh, just to keep, you build stuff and then you get new stuff to build. It's like, I don't.
So that's what this game is.
I played with Legos. No, but I mean,
cool.
it is.
Like, yeah. So you launch out on a planet. You're an astronaut. Astronaut. What else?
Astronomer.
Anyway, you're an astronaut, and you're just put on this planet, and you have to survive. And there are other planets you can go to, but first you got to research spaceship and build a spaceship and go.
Yeah, and it
is a crafting survival game,
right.
But you can also play co-op. So David and I are rooting around this planet, getting to hijinks and stuff.
Yeah, you have a terrain tool or this gun that you point at certain parts of the planet, and it sucks up certain resources, which you then use to build a research station. Then you can find these little research things that you pop in there, and then it'll give you the ability to build new
things.
And so we built like a rover, and then we drove
around.
Like
advanced resources, and you can go deeper into the planet, so you can like drill straight down and be like, oh, there's like this huge cave system here, kind of like Minecraft. You ever played Minecraft?
Yeah,
kind of like that. And then so like, oh, you're investigating this cave, and then you have even more higher research or better materials, and then you go even deeper.
It's a playground, right? It's a sandboxy playgroundy kind of game, and like there's things because it's like Minecraft. You can do things like that aren't intended. So like we tried to dig into the center of the Earth,
which I've heard like you can dig through the planet. It is physics, and what will happen is you'll get to the center, you kind of flop, and it looks like you're drilling up.
That's so cool.
Like, oh, let's do this. So we built this big rover out because you need oxygen to breathe, obviously, and then you need power to run your little sucker tool or whatever. So we take this rover with us that has a lot of stuff.
So awesome.
And then we're just drilling straight down. So like we're not getting out of this thing, right?
You're stuck.
You can't get back out.
Yeah, go big or go home, right? Well, our plan was to get on the other side of the planet, right? So like we'll be fine eventually.
You can in the game though. The best idea is like you kind of dig at an angle, so then you can walk down and walk back up because there's like stuff down in the caves that are like better resources and stuff.
At this point, we were already playing for like 4 hours, so we're just like, let's just go ham. We got this cool drill thing. Let's just just to see how far.
Yeah, we
can
put a
go.
giant like crane on the top of our rover that had like a drill head, so it was like drilling with us.
Yeah,
it's very stupid.
Yeah, so we got down pretty far. How far were we digging before you destroyed
I think
it?
we at least got to like the hot magma of our world.
But like 30, 40 minutes.
Yeah, and then I screwed up, and then
so like because you have to make a big enough hole so the car is falling down behind you and it doesn't hurt you, but like that's our oxygen. And David just made the hole small enough for us, and we didn't notice until we were like, oh, you're at 50% oxygen. And you look up and you can't even see. We just left the car behind. So it's like, wow. So like 40 minutes of digging, almost an hour, was all for naught because
that's why
we suffocated.
It's more. It's not. It is a game, but it's more of an activity type of game, in my opinion. It's like it's just we goof around. And
it's
be
almost
stupid.
just like just get drunk and
so
let's play
if you
this
would have
game,
made the circle bigger.
Then the car could have fell through and we could have kept going. But I was just trying. We were doing it for like 35 minutes. I was like, we got to be at the center of the planet at some point. So I was hoping we were going to hit oxygen at some point.
So are you just looking at a black screen basically?
No, it's like
you have little flashlights that always stay on, but your suit runs out of power. When your suit runs out of power, you can still drill, but it's like very slow. It'll like build it up.
Yeah, it slowly regenerates. Yeah,
you can strap this generator onto you, and you can burn organic material, which we had a whole cache on the truck that you lost that you can use to give yourself more power.
It's really really cool. It's like I said, it's simple tools, but you can screw with it.
How are the graphics?
Good. It's very like boxy. It would kind of be the
It's
thing.
not like Minecraft, but it's like think of like between Minecraft and like a super modern game. It's like the mix of those two.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's very very cool, and like we built a shuttle, and then you can take off on the shuttle and then go to other parts of that planet, or you can go to totally different planets. Like, and there's a bajillion. We only went to like 3 because like this is one of those games where it's like.
It looks like procedurally
you
generated
can play
too.
this
it's all random
like Minecraft. You can play this for like ever, right? Which I have fun with, but it's like to a certain point, I'm like, okay, I'm done playing this game. Like, there's nothing pulling me back in other than just the random silliness.
Yeah, and the random silliness. But if you get stuck, you respawn. But then you respawn, you're like, oh, I gotta do all that stuff again.
Well, see, for me, I don't know why anyone. This is just my personal opinion. I know there's plenty of people who do. I don't understand why anyone would play this solo. Like, the only reason I enjoyed it as much as I did is because I was screwing around doing multiplayer.
The same reason why you'd play multiplayer, except like you want to see what's the next thing you can advance or what's the next planet you can go to, and it's just that rush of like new stuff that you can find in research.
No, I know, but it's like research so that you can get better tools, so then you can research the next thing, so then you can get better tools to research the next.
Well, we don't know where it ends, David. We never got to that point.
That's
You killed us.
you're right when you spell it out that way, but I feel like that's a dynamic of like a lot of games.
Like I definitely don't
No, but I
have
want
the itch to
closure.
play it again. Maybe like because it is early access, so they're always adding new stuff. That's kind of the point of these games. So maybe in a month or two we'll go back and play it, and there'll be more stuff. Or if you want to pick it up,
Yeah, you should
we'll
get it.
definitely
We would,
play it.
yeah, because like the other thing you can do is you can place tethers from like your base has oxygen, and then you place tethers, and you place that allows you to tether out more
Reach
oxygen.
out far and far.
So you like by the time we were playing, we had like tethers like miles in every direction, so we could go as far as we want with. It's really
It's
cool.
very fun, especially with multiplayer. But if you want to get it, it's like $15-20 on Steam.
Yeah, very cool. So that's all I had this week. What else do we want to talk about? You want to do we were talking about Christmas. How was your Christmas?
It was good. Had family over for breakfast. I like making breakfast.
Yeah, that's your
made
thing.
some quiche this year. Mixed it up with the
Quiche?
recipe a little bit.